Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion Plays of Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. Doing quite well in the last episode, to be honest with you. Finally got some more Keeper stuff done. We still need Boss Rush, Mega Satan, Negative. But first, why don't we do a little Blue Baby, Mega Satan, Delirium. No, I'll start with the Mega Satan and then we'll see if the Delirium comes later. K3Y9, 1BJP. So we'll have a little, Mega Satan appetizer, shall we say. And then Delirium, you never know. Could come later. You ever go to a restaurant? You order like an appetizer and then a main course. I know, we're ballin'. Sometimes we'll get chicken wings. And they go, it's nice of them to ask. Let me preface this by saying this, but they go like, oh, do you want the chicken wings to come out first as an appetizer, or do you want it to come with the rest of the food? And I'm like, yeah, I'd really like to have, you know, a bowl of chicken noodle soup with a side of chicken wings. I'm being needlessly reductive. Again, I'm not suggesting this is a bad degree of service. I'm just like, what kind of weird Frankenstein meal do you think I'm concocting here? I don't want the chicken wings by themselves to share. If you could just lump it all together and serve it on a single okay, this is pedantic. Alright, I thought the bit would be better and it wasn't. It's time to cut our losses. I recognize my mistake, and I vow to do better in the future. Speaking of doing better, we have done better. That last run as the Keeper, I'm not going to say it shouldn't have won, because it had a lot of strengths, and a lot of real positives going for it. However, it wasn't a 10 out of 10 Keeper run. We didn't have Nun's Habit, we didn't have Swallowed Penny, and we beat two of the hardest things you can beat in the game. We beat Hush, and we beat Delirium. Just goes to show you that jumper cables... Oh, dude. Proptosis. And telepills into the self-sacrifice room. Just goes to show you that jumper cables, combined with decent enough damage, combined with, of course, the starting wooden nickel, good enough to get the job done, if you get a little bit of luck on your side, which I would definitely suggest that we did. Oh, this is wonderful. So we'll come back, blow this up. Give me a bomb as well. I mean, 2 Spirit Hearts is great. I would have loved to have gotten a bomb so we could have blown up the other Spirit Heart, or the other Tinted Rock, but speaking of Spirit Hearts, we're going to get one right here regardless. Even though it's nice to have a break from, like, the due diligence you have to do on a Keeper run of, like, using the wooden nickel on every single room, but we should probably still use the poop on every single room here. You know, it's easier to stick with good habits once you've created them than it is to, you know, lapse and then go back into them at a later date. So let's just... be smart, shoot the poop when you finish the room, when warranted, head down to the next floor. We're making great time. 2 minutes in here. With Proptosis, which of course is fantastic. So I will say that being the Keeper does create a problem from a Mega Satan standpoint. What I mean by that is we can't play the self-sacrifice room as readily. Which makes it... You know, we kind of got to adhere to the old rules of the Keeper, where you ignore the first deal with the devil, which is easy enough to do as the Keeper most times anyway, because usually you don't have the HP to make it too worthwhile, but this is a kind of a rare exception of the rule here. Maybe we can work towards Bookworm. That's gonna hurt! I don't know the order that these spawned in. Please, stop creating bombs to protect yourself. Oh my god, dude. That's too many attacks simultaneously. I'm sorry to tell you. There's too many attacks simultaneously, and I think that what you've done to me is unfair. I will be heretofore requesting a refund of the HP that I was unjustly ripped from my hands. You have 30 days to reply to this letter, or I'm gonna sue your butt. Like J. Jonah Jameson. Did you guys see the viral, I mean, it wasn't, I don't know how viral it went. Did it go viral like a left stroke? I have no idea, but I thought it was funny that there was a post, I think I saw it, yeah, we'll take Crack the Sky, come up in the spot looking extra fly. I think I saw it on Reddit, where a person went for a job interview that they were unqualified for, and then the job interviewed, like the place they interviewed at tried to bill them $400 for the hours of everybody involved. It's like, normally this is very much not like too much of a call-in show type format where I'm like, what'd you think about this? Well, though, that's very interesting. But what about this? You know, doesn't it set a troubling blah blah? This is one of the rare situations I'm very interested to see what people think about it. Because I saw, you know, definitely a spectrum of replies in the comments. Half the people were like, you know, good on the company. He was wasting their time. He essentially lied to get the interview. And then when they got there, they had skilled people who were not doing anything else. But he billed them, or I should say the place billed him for 2 hours of their time. It's like, if the dude clearly has such a low level of proficiency that he's not qualified for the job, why did it take you 2 hours in order to solve the conundrum here? It seems like if you're so smart that you're getting paid $150 an hour or something for your profession, you're also probably intelligent enough to realize, hey, this dude doesn't know Erlang, so we can just, like, let's cut this interview after an hour or so, and then we can work for an hour of our time. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little ignorant there. So we'll just ignore this deal with the devil for now. We'll take a spirit heart, head down to the next floor. Yes, we ignore our cursed room. Life goes on. I kind of think my perspective is that, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Probably a lot of success stories where people have interviewed for jobs that maybe they weren't 100% qualified for based on the listing, but, you know, isn't a job listing... It gives you perhaps realistic concerns, skills that you should need, but also, like, it's a perfect world scenario. You know, when you put up a job, you know, hey, I'm looking for a manager for the local Starbucks, needs 10 years of managerial experience, you know? People are going to apply for that job with 1 year, 0 years of managerial experience. It's your job as the job interviewer, I think, to, oh, that was very stupid of me. It's your job as the job interview, in my perspective, to weed them out. You book this much time for interviews, you find the most qualified candidate that fits your needs, and then you can't just charge people because they didn't interview well. Even if they did perhaps misrepresent themselves. I mean, the whole point of the interview is that you're testing their credentials, right? That's my perspective, at least. If we start getting into the... Maybe this is my entitled millennial attitude, but I think if we start getting into a culture of charging people for not having... a baseline level of competency for job interviews. Like, the job interview is the test of a baseline level of competency. And you might be saying, like, hey, be realistic, you know? People's time is worth a lot of money. No, I know. I've hired lawyers. I've had lawyers on retainer many times in my life. You know, I understand the way that billing by hour works. It's expensive as heck, you know? There are people out there who get paid $400 or $500 an hour for sure. Like doing a sponsored stream of a mobile game or something like that. However, it doesn't mean you could just bill people if things go wrong, you know? It'd be like if I got food poisoning and I billed the company that, you know, sold me the meal. I mean, I guess it's a little different. It's not a perfect metaphor because first off, I can't prove it. And secondly, I shouldn't know that the food is diseased before I eat. Well, before you ate at this place, you should have known. No, that's what the Fraser Health Advisory Board is there for, to shut down restaurants because they have pest infestations. Okay, I'm gonna test this, and I immediately regret my decision. Let's keep moving on. I don't know. I think I know where I stand. At first, I was like, yeah, this guy lied on the interview and took time away from potentially a more qualified candidate, and the people at the office were unable to do their duties. And then later, I was like, wow, this actually sucks. I've interviewed for jobs I was probably unqualified for in my life before. Unqualified might not be the right word. Underqualified is probably a better word. I even got one of those jobs. I sucked at it for a while, and then, you know, trial by fire, I kind of figured it out eventually. Oh, I wasted that bomb. I don't really want to use 2 of clubs right now, especially just to get a card that might be like another 2 of clubs, but I'm gonna. Sure, 15 cents to save us all the keys that we're going to need here I think is worth it. And then, you know what, I'll even buy this 3-cent bomb here. I'm not saying you should make a habit of it, but, you know, when times are desperate, you might have to take kind of a shot, right? I'm not saying you should go interview at a hospital if you, you know, don't... If you're not actually a doctor and you interview for, like, a surgery position or something like that with a faked degree, that's a little different, but... Sometimes you gotta shake the tree and see what comes out on a job that maybe has unrealistic qualifications, or, you know, that's the other thing, is that, you know, maybe you're a self-starter. You don't have the skills, but you're like, I could learn them if I were in this environment. Possibly. Oh, dude, this is huge. So, we are going to have a pretty good, I was going to say pretty good crown, and it is a pretty good crown, but we are going to have a pretty good chance to, get our Mega Satan fight, I think, as a result of the key piece, and then just beyond that, the crown itself is like a really good item from the Angel Room, so I'm feeling good. That's my perspective. Don't be discouraged, dude. I check Glassdoor sometimes. I'm not looking for an exit from the YouTube and Twitch industry. Things are fine, but sometimes, you know, I'm in school. So sometimes I'll pull back the veil, right? You know, I know it's a risk of DAE programming. I'm working on, like, this Angular class, which is a different tool set for writing web pages, more or less, in layman's terms, or web applications. And it kind of sucks. Some of the assignments are really tedious and difficult, and I go, why the heck am I learning this? I go to Glassdoor, a website where people, you know, post their salaries, and, you know, I check Indeed and stuff like that. I'm like, how much if this ever worked out, like, is this worth it for me? I am enjoying programming, but Angular itself is kind of annoying. So I know, you know, hey, you're looking for a junior dev to work at, you know, this startup place that is, making a MailChimp campaign or something like that. You know, we'd like you to have 172 years of experience, please. I see that all the time. Sometimes you gotta, I'm not saying lie, I'm just saying you gotta be perhaps overly ambitious in the application process, and apply for some stuff that maybe you won't get, you know? I think that's good corporate culture, and that's the whole purpose of the interview in the first place, is to be like, I think this guy's full of crap. My 2 cents. Then again, literally have not had a job interview in like 7 years, and most of the job interviews I had before that were very atypical. Summer student jobs for, you know, when I was in university. I mean, we might as well take notched axe, but summer student positions while I was in university were basically, they're like, we need a warm body, and I was like, give me a thermometer. I'm good to go. I can get as warm as you need for $9 an hour. And then, you know, working in Korea, they were like, do you speak English? And I was like, yeah. That's what it says right there on my on my recipe. Yeah, see, I'm an adept English speaker. It says right there on my resume, speaks English. But you have a French last name. And I'm like, I know, it's weird, but you're just gonna have to take my word on this one. And I appreciate your acquiescence. Don't use bombs. Get notched axe charged and go for broke in here. Don't use bombs unless you have to, I guess. So, I also, and I'll be the first to tell you in all these situations, I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time. I'm on, oh, dude, I hate Twitter. Like, I'm on Twitter every day, because I like reading garbage that people post. And I know that Twitter has done, yeah, we should take that, probably. Twitter's done some good stuff, and I don't mean that in a, like, a disparaging way. I mean, there have been positive things that have come as a result of using Twitter. Networking, you know, laughing at funny memes. Yeah, everybody is gonna turn up their nose at that, but come on, half the reason you're there is for the memes at this point. But it's also like, dude, in the games industry, there's a new controversy every day. Every day, there's a new thing that people are mad about. My political belief as it comes to the game industry, and I'm lucky to be able to be in this position, admittedly, is like, everyone's stupid, myself included. Just like 90% of the time that you're yelling, you should shut up, and the other 10% is when you should really focus on it, because it's like, it's a garbage situation. It's my perspective on things. I'm not trying to silence people whatsoever. I'm just saying, you know, it's so exhausting being on Twitter these days. I'm like, I used to come here, and you know what my biggest complaint about Twitter was in like 2013? It was like, there's a lot of pictures of food on this website. Now it's like 280 all caps screed, like, don't tell me Mario can't make me horny. And I'm like, I don't know what this means. I think that, you know, as we get older here, as the internet gets older and weirder and hornier, like, the age gap between me and you people younger than myself is just getting higher and higher. Like, I think in my parents' generation, if, like, if you were 40, you were talking to a 50-year-old. It was like, we're the same age, more or less. Oh, you know, aches and pains and stuff like that maybe are like mildly different and whatnot, but now I'm like, I'm 28. If I see a tweet from a 24-year-old, it's always like, Waluigi gives me a big boner. And I'm like, I don't understand. It's like a 1-year difference now. I'm not even saying that's bad, because like, let's be honest, I post some garbage. But I just don't get it. I'm like, there's a whole generation between me and people 4 years younger than myself now. It's, and you're gonna be like, hey, old man, get with the times. I'm trying! That's why I'm spending so much time on that freaking website. I'm not posting pictures of my lunch. I'm there doing cultural research, trying to figure out how to stay relevant in the modern era. Apparently, the way you stay relevant in the modern era is you get horny for Nintendo characters. Mama Mega, here we go again. So we probably should have kept Mama Mega because I believe that it does give us access to Mega Satan, maybe? So this is just like the wrong play. But we're still in a great spot, to be honest. We don't need boss rush, so you don't need to speed yourself through this. Not too quickly, anyway. Just watch out for enemies that could explode into bullets. Algiz is lovely. This is a long Necropolis 1, my dude. I want to keep Algiz. What was the other one? I thought it was, well, we used the Hermit, so what was this other card? Question marks? It is question marks, if I remember correctly. You might as well hold question mark for now. I don't know. Like, it's, with our current spacebar items, it's not worth too much, but one day, we might get, like, a Book of Revelations, in which case we'll be quite pleased. We have outrageous damage. So that's a Spirit Heart right away. Mom's Lipstick is not very good. Okay, we will be fighting 2 angel statues, and I took Breath of Life instead of our other item. You know what? Why not? This is actually an okay use of the question mark card, in my opinion. Breath of Life, obviously, pretty much garbage. Key Piece 2, extremely important. Now we can fight Mega Satan. I think we might want to take Fishtail. We don't necessarily need too many more bombs. We do still want to see an item room here. I really do, like, I don't know. I've been talking to the other guys about it as well in the NLSS group, and I mean, being on Twitter is so exhausting these days. I get that it's, you know, strange times. Let's put it that way. I'm not talking about the political situation in the United States or in the world, because obviously that's a huge part of Twitter right now, depending on the circles that you run in, but like, dude, it's just, I can't spend this much time. It's toxic to be so angry all the time. I understand that it sounds like you know, new age garbage, but I think there's some truth to it. Like, it's just, it's an exhausting website to be on. I wonder why I play an Isaac all the time. People, oh, dude, Tech X, thank you. Part of the reason that I love playing Isaac is because it allows me to stay absent the drama of like, oh, you know, this loot crate, oh, this developer tweeted something 12 years ago is really offensive, this blah blah, and I'm like, dude, you know what? Leave me in my little bubble here where I can talk about how we have a 12 out of 10 run. I can say acquiesce twice, and we could just enjoy our time here. Again, it's a luxury to be in that position, to not have to worry about that kind of stuff, but, you know, if self-care is important, then allow me to acquiesce some in the form of this daily therapeutic Isaac. Dude, we are so strong right now. We're up to 15 cents. Probably at this point, we'll just buy Spirit Hearts endlessly. We have a chance, and it really is a chance. And I don't think there's anything we can do. Speaking of which, you know what would be a cool thing to add in a booster pack? Is something that guaranteed, after every floor, you got a chance to go to the Void if you wanted to. I understand that it might seem like a little unnecessary, but I think it would be very useful for runs like this in which we're, you know, we want to do Mega Satan, and we will do Mega Satan. We also want to do Delirium, but we don't necessarily want it to be left up to random chance. Now, mind you, it just means that random chance gets kind of extended elsewhere, because now we got to try to find the trinket, or get lucky. But I think you understand what I mean. Basically, after we kill Mega Satan, assuming we kill Mega Satan, we will possibly get a portal. It's something like 15% odds. So I wouldn't bet on it. Unless you're getting a proportional, you know, reward as well, of course. I mean, if they say, hey, we'll give you 100 times your initial investment if you bet on it, then by all means. But if it's some kind of 50-50 riffraff, I would suggest not then. Tammy's head. Yeah. Tammy's head. And so, is this awesome or horrible? We don't know yet. I'm going to say awesome, because every enemy is going to die immediately upon entering the room. And Tammy's head is going to take care of 90% of the riffraff here to begin with. If there's good items on the boss rush, we should do boss rush, dude, because this is, like, exceptionally powerful. I'm mad. I got stuck. Okay. It doesn't matter what we take, so you might as well take the Polaroid for the invincibility. Quad shot's not what we want, but it might be okay if Tammy's head kills everything. Nothing else in here is 10 out of 10. So I'm actually just gonna go pick up quad shot. Does quad shot affect Tammy's head? Okay, I'm not gonna pick up quad shot. Why? I don't think quad shot gives Tammy's head 4 times the shots. I could be wrong. I was gonna pop Algiz, pick it up, and we would have stomped. If we're being honest with each other here. We would have torn it up. But, you know, on all these runs where you gotta unlock stuff, I think it's not the worst thing in the world to play it a little close to your chest. We keep our Algiz rune now for a potential Mega Satan play. And yeah, I'm sorry, Satanic Bible. You've been a lovely item. Or, I'm sorry, to the, Crack the Sky. You've actually been a lovely item. You've helped us out a great deal. And you know what? I'm actually wrong. And I like to pride myself on, you know, I'm not always the most, the brightest tool in the crayon box. In terms of, like, analysis of play and stuff like that. But I can admit when I'm wrong. It's a skill that not everybody has, and I think that I have it. I think that we want to shoot instead of using Tammy's head. Which means Tammy's head is close to worthless. Because Tammy's head loses, for whatever reason, the Tech X value. It just shoots tears, which is pretty bad. You know, as soon as it does 1 tick of damage, it's out. Whereas when we shoot, almost everything is dying pretty much immediately, so it seems like a more appropriate use of our time right now, is my impression of things. I'm trying to think. We can guarantee Delirium, but again, I think Delirium's easier to swing than Mega Satan. Harder to kill, easier to get to, so we'll just put our faith in Blast Hard Cheese here. So because we want to shoot more often than we want to use Tammy's head, which we'll use as like a value add right after we shoot, I think we were right to avoid using Quad Shot, which would have made our rate of fire like a lot worse. Also, we got burned on that very recently. I mean, as you can see, we're just completely dominating from a damage standpoint. Okay. What do we got here? Sister Viz, what's your price for flight? You're dead. Deal with the angel. PJs, we don't need it, but might as well take it. Cambion Conception. Probably, and this is not being cocky, but I don't think we're going to get enough damage taken to take advantage of Cambion Conception, which is, you know, it's a good position to be in. We already have Cricket's Head, so I'm not really worried about the stone chests in there. I'm not really worried about keys, because, again, we're pretty much just going straight to this Mega Satan fight. And this would be a really good couple of episodes. Because remember, dude, there was a time where Blue Baby was, like, my personal freaking nightmare. Okay, also, I'm an idiot. I forgot with Tech X, you don't actually need to reach a fully charged shot. You can shoot out a little baby shot. which is going to do the same amount of damage. It's just not going to cover the same amount of real estate. So it's much better for us to... We don't need it. We can't take it, actually. It's much better for us to just reach the point where we can send out any shot, which still takes a little bit of time, but not nearly as long. Okay, now we're just being a little ridiculous. If we're not taking that key, we gotta ask ourselves what we're doing in this life. Yeah, we're gonna win. Now, mind you, I can't toot my own horn too much. We've had 2 good runs in a row, both benefited by, you know, different forms of technology. This run is probably about 2 to 3 million times better than the last run, especially when you consider the fact that we can take some damage. And one more deal with the Angels. Sacred Heart would be incredible. And it's a cold day when Holy Water is the best of 2 Angel items, but it is what it is, dude. It is what it is. It feels good by whatever means necessary to be able to get a couple of wins here, because we went through a dry spell. A dry spell that, you know, it's not completely in the cracked rear view yet, but I got to admit was largely my own fault. You know, we probably deserved or should not feel too bad about a lot of the losses that we had there, but a couple of them were near idiotic. Just sloppy play, you know, forgetting things that we've known in the past. I always feel weird apologizing for forgetting something. For a couple of reasons. One of which is that for much of my life I haven't had to worry about that because, as you know, I have a weirdo encyclopedia brain, but apparently not for video game mechanics, only for weird pop culture trash that makes no sense, like cracked rear view, for example. So I'm not used to it, and I'm learning to get used to it. Oh no. We took the left hand. It's the second time we've done that recently. And this gives us trash, right? Or kills us? I don't remember. I was gonna use it anyway, but that was the wrong use there. The other thing is that I feel weird about apologizing for forgetting, because I'm like, I didn't forget. Like, forgetting is like an active tense. But it's not that I said, you know what, let's forget this. It's just my brain was like, you know, you haven't used that in a while, just purge it. And I gotta be, I'm sorry that the subconscious processes in my brain decided to no longer remember what happens if you use diplopia on the chest, having opened a chest. It's weird. It's like the trash company. You're like, oh, I left my Bitcoin wallet in that garbage. Did you throw it out? And they're like, yeah, sorry, we took out the trash. Like, that's what we do. You didn't use it in a while, so now it's gone. So I almost feel like I'm apologizing on behalf of my brain, but of course I am my brain. It's a weird sort of situation. I'm like, don't, this guy, he's always forgetting stuff. I keep telling him, why don't you just remember everything? But he's just forgetting from time to time. Dude, okay. This was just the appetizer. Can you bring the main course out now, the delirium fight? Still, great run. I had a lovely time. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Don't waste my time if you're not qualified for the interview. Subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. And of course, thanks for watching. And if you're watching now, I'll see you tomorrow for another one. See ya!